Hi everyone, I greet in the name of God Almighty. My name is Nancy Grace and I'm here with Apostle, and today we'll be reacting to an interesting topic that says, is it compulsory for men to take permission before taking second wives? Wow, this must be an interesting video. And if today is your first time of visiting my channel, please subscribe and follow me on my Facebook page and Instagram. Without wasting much of our time, let's get down to the video. No worries.
Can we have the sister on the top there?
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Brother,
Walaikum assalam.
I went through your speech about the second marriage by a man. Men are very much fond of having more than one marriage, and Islam do allow them for that. Even for that, they don't need a permission from their first wife, second wife, in case they are going for third or fourth. My question to you is that there is less patience among the female side, and the social circumstances where there is very hard to lead one family when the person wants to go for 2, 3, when they know they can't have justice with them. In such condition, certain states have made it a compulsory law that man before going there should get permission from the first wife. Still, do you say that avoiding the social circumstances or corruption among the relation where man mostly disowns the second or third wife, or they divorce them just for the social pressures or family pressures afterwards, do you still say that they don't need a permission? Or if they do, in such circumstances, should such laws of state be religiously followed or not?
Sister asked the question that most of the men, they love having second wife. She did a survey, I think. Huh?
I'm a victim to this.
Sorry?
I am a victim to this.
No, if you are a victim, you cannot put all the men in the same bracket. If you are a victim to certain things, you cannot say most of the men. You can say some men, no problem. Correct? So if you are a victim to certain things, you cannot put all the men in the same bracket. Okay, anyway, coming to your question, that men, when they want to marry a second wife, they don't have to take permission, because Allah has given them permission in the Quran, but certain states have said that it should be compulsory to take permission. What is my view? In Islam, Allah says in the Quran in Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 3, marry women of your choice in 2s, 3s or 4s. But if you can't do justice, marry only one. This statement, marry only one, is only given in the Quran and no other scripture. If you can't do justice, you have to marry only one. That means Quran gives permission for a man to have 2, 3 or 4 wives, but they can't do justice, marry only one. In Islam, under normal circumstances, a husband need not take the permission of the wife before marrying a second wife. But in Islam, marriage, nikah, is a sacred covenant. During nikah, a would-be wife can put any condition which is permitted by the Sharia to the husband. Similarly, the husband can put any condition which is permitted by the Sharia. That means if a woman marries a man, she can put the clause that I will only marry you under condition that you do not take a second wife. Now, because marrying more than one wife is not compulsory in Islam, she can put a clause saying that I will only marry you if you do not take a second wife. She has the option. If women don't put the clause, who's to blame? Sister, did you put that clause in your marriage nikahnaama?
Basically,
Sister,
in our...
I am asking you, please, your questions are so long, you're so emotional. Yes or no, did you put a clause in your nikahnaama before marrying that my husband should not take a second wife?
It was already cut when the nikahnaama came to me, because this is what is a common
tradition. I'm asking you a simple question, yes or no. Did you put the clause in the nikahnaama that my husband should not take a second wife? Did you
I was
put
not
yes?
asked for that.
So who's to blame? If you did not ask for your right, who's to blame, he or you? If you don't ask, good, even I will not ask. I am asking, that means you did not know your religion, right or wrong? Did you know when you got married that you can put a clause in the nikahnaama? Did you know, yes or no?
No.
Who's to blame, you or your husband? Who's to, now you know. Now you know or not? Sister, now do you know or not?
Yeah, now I know.
That means your nikah nama, you can put any clause, but you cannot put a clause, you cannot tell your wife, you cannot tell your husband, you should not offer salah, because offering salah is fard. So you cannot prevent your husband from doing something which is fard, neither can you force him to do something which is haram. You cannot say, I want you to have alcohol every day, because having alcohol is haram. But anything which is mubah, which is optional, you can put a clause saying, if he agrees, he'll marry you. If he doesn't agree, he won't marry you. Khalas. So if you don't know your deen, who's to blame? You or me? Who's to blame? Why are you talking about the state? Forget the state. Every individual Muslim, man or woman, can put any clause which is optional. You can put a clause that I will only marry you if you give me every month 50,000 rupees. No problem. Agree? Agree. Has the money, he will agree. No. Or you say 1 lakh rupees. Put a clause. He may agree, he may not agree. You can demand the meher what you want. You know meher. How much meher you kept, sister?
But if they promise
Sister,
a meher and
how much
afterwards
meher?
they are
See,
not
I'm
giving,
asking
then...
you a question. What is your, where do you come from? You are saying my name is so and so. What was the meher in your marriage?
1 lakh.
1 lakh rupees. What can you do with 1 lakh rupees today?
It's worth nothing.
So why did you agree with that meher? Who's to blame?
Because
you or
there
me?
was no other option.
Ah, so the problem is in you. Problem is that then you have to do. If there's no other option, that means you found the best. See, sister, Islam has got various options and varieties. The problem is that the Muslims and the men, they do not know their deen themselves. You don't know the deen and then you blame Islam. In Islam, the right has been given to the man because to protect the woman. And if you hear my answer, that why does Islam allow a man to have more than one wife, is basically to protect the woman. If every man marries one woman, then women will be unprotected in this world. Because today, sister, there are more women in the world than the men. Do you know that? In New York alone, in USA alone, there are 4.3 million women more than men. In Germany alone, there are 1 million female more than men alone. In Russia alone, there are 10 million female more than men. If your sister or my sister happens to live in Germany, my sister happens to live in Russia, and there are 10 million females who have not found husband, only option for them is that they either marry a man who already has a wife or become public property. Do you understand? Public property, Dr. Zakir, it's such a harsh word. It is the most sophisticated word I can use. So, polygyny, a man having more than one wife, has been given to protect the woman, not to degrade her. The problem is that many of the men, many of the Muslim women, they don't know their rights. We are to blame. We don't know our deen very well. Our deen, the amount of rights that the woman has in Islam is phenomenal. In other religion, the woman has to give money, right or wrong? In India, you have to give dowry or not normally?
Yeah, correct.
Did you give dowry? Did you give dowry?
No.
You received it. Alhamdulillah. So Islam has given rights. If there is something happened with your husband and if he's not following Islam, then there are ways. I'm not telling. And one more thing, if your husband requires more than one wife, so why should you not support him? What is the problem? You tell me one thing, if the husband goes every day outside, outside to other women, as long as he doesn't marry, most of the wives did not mind. No problem. But chupke se karo, dunya ko malum nahi padna chahiye. Correct? You go in America, 8 different sexual partners before they settle down. A good Muslimah would say, I would prevent my Muslim sister from becoming a public property. I wouldn't mind sharing the husband. If she is a good Muslimah. Do you understand? Sister, do you understand?
I understand.
I feel you are emotionally so charged up just because your husband took a second wife.
No, this is not the issue. Problem is, he is not owning his relations. This is the problem. This is my message by you to all the people who are here. Please, if you're going to own the relation, own them well. Don't desert the relation. Because
not owning relationship means when he married the second wife, did he say he was the second wife or not?
but if he leaves you without giving you a word, you don't know where he is not giving you your pocket money, he is not knowing you in what conditions you are then.
Sister, all this doesn't carry weight because I cannot give a judgment without hearing the other side. Whatever much you criticize your husband, point number one, a good Muslimah will not criticize the husband in public. Do you understand?
Public don't know me,
Allah
public
says in the
don't know the
Quran,
person.
Inna Allah ma sabirin. Verily, Allah is with those who, even if my wife, however bad she is, I will, mashallah, she's very good. Mashallah, she's the best wife in the world. But even if my wife was the worst wife, I would never criticize her because I want to go to Jannah. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best Muslim is that who's the best to his family, including the wife. Now, if your husband hypothetically is not good, you be good to him, khalas. He should say, how much am I torturing my wife, yet she's praising me. His heart should melt. Irrespective the heart does not melt, you will go to Jannah. Do you know that, sister? You are losing your Jannah, sister. My advice from a brother to you is you are losing your Jannah by criticizing your husband in public. Do you understand, sister?
But you're not understanding my question.
I don't have to understand you, sister. Because I, as a person, cannot give judgment without hearing him. He's not present here. It is ghibah. It is ghibat. My advice to you is that, sister, forget about ghibat. Forgive, you will go to Jannah, inshallah. Hope that answers the question.
Wow, very interesting video. Like I always said, I'm here to learn, and Quran is not only meant for the Muslim, it's also generally for mankind. And I always say that I so much love this doctor, like the way he answered question. Honestly, he's very intelligent, and it's also, I learned something a lot from this video, and one of them is that I don't really know that in Muslim that the men marry more than one wife in order to protect the women, because there are a lot of women out there. This is his opinion or their opinion. It's very good. And also, secondly, that you can put a agreement that you will not marry another person in their own religion if you know about it. If you are in their religion and you know about it, you can be able to contest for it, that you will not, is just an agreement. But concerning the lady, that she did not know. And secondly, I also learned that you don't criticize your partner in public if you really want to make heaven. I have really learned from this video that we have to pray for our partner. We have to just hope that, pray to God, pray to Allah to change that person to become a good one for you. And also, we don't need to criticize our partner. We don't need to criticize our loved ones, even our family, to the public. I've really learned so much, and I believe that all of you and Apostle have learned something. Then let's hear from Apostle.
Well, the truth about it is, in watching this video, I truly and really felt for this sister. Seriously, I feel pain within me because I know that I have sisters. Yeah. And by the grace of God, I'm not married, but I know that probably if I marry, I may have a female daughter. And imagine it's my daughter that is kind of going through what this woman is actually going through. In as much as we know that Islam permits a man to marry in 2s or even up to 4, Islam permits that as far as the person can be able to show justice to them, which we all know that a man cannot show that justice. It's only God who can actually give equal justice. But anyway, I know that this woman may be going through a lot that some of us watching from this screen may not really understand what she is actually going through. I know that she might be going through some kind of pain that we may not kind of understand. Just like the way Zakir says that, well, the man is not here, so we cannot also hear his own part of the story, so he can't be able to give judgment to it. I know that it was a little bit funny, but to me it didn't sound funny to me, because that woman is actually going through pain. I wish that maybe probably Dr. Zakir can kind of meet her in person and kind of give her some personal counseling, so that she can be able to, you know, take it and understand on how to deal with this kind of situation, because I know that a lot of women are going through so many things, like so many things, and that's why you could see some of them could end up committing suicide. And when they commit suicide, we will blame them, but we see now that they are still alive, this is the right time for us to encourage them. Yes, it's about the woman. She kind of needs some kind of level of education. She might have made mistake even from the beginning. There are a lot of things she could have considered which she did not consider. Now she's already in it, and now she needs a solution. She don't really need about understand. Yeah, we know that yes, the Quran allowed it. Probably she may know, but she don't know that this is how the things will happen. Maybe she was thinking that even if the person take another wife, maybe probably the person should be able to provide for her and maybe give her some of her needs and all that. Maybe probably the person may not, even though like Dr. Zakir says, we have not listened to the man part of the story, so we can't be able to give a clearer judgment into this kind of situation. But then while this thing was going on, I see you busy laughing about the woman situation. I wanted to even ask you and said that, like, let's assume that Christianity allowed men to marry more than that. Even though in Christianity you can even marry more than that, but though we don't practice it at the moment, let's assume, can you be able to allow your husband to have more than 2 wives?
Okay, the reason why I was laughing is just the way Zakir was, you know, putting out and responding to the lady. Okay. And also why I was laughing secondly was that the woman, that she's not supposed to like criticize us, bring out your secret outside. So I was just laughing, not laughing at the women. But responding to your question, if a man marries a second wife, you won't do anything about it. Most of them will not even take. I don't even. No,
I'm just saying you. I'm asking you in particular. Can you permit it?
Okay, if he asked me, I will not permit it. I will not allow it if he take permission. But if he did not take permission, what will I do? A lot of things is going on. People are bearing a lot of things in their marriage. So my own advice to this is just that for people who are single, just pray and take your time and just pray that God, in fact, I don't know whether I will call it lucky. If you are lucky, you get a good one. Honestly, even in Christendom, a lot of things is going on, a lot of divorce and a lot of things, honestly. People are, what Zakir is trying to tell her, if she could understand, is that no, your own is not you are not the only person going through it. You understand? A whole lot of people there, if you can give them opportunity to speak about what they are going through, is a whole lot. So you don't just come out and talk about your partner in public. It's just me, I believe it's just through prayer that God will touch everyone. For those who are single, may God lead us and guide us and help us to choose the right partner. Guys, this is the end of our video. If you like our reaction, please subscribe, share, and press the button.